Wellville was a national nonprofit project that spanned from 2014 to 2024. It supported 5 U.S. communities as they worked to improve long-term, equitable community well-being.
Wellville is actually an opportunity for 5 communities to work together to learn what improves equitable well-being over the long haul, and to share ideas and to partner with outside and inside organizations that want to help. And what we do is we provide advisors to each of our 5 communities.
And so our business model is kind of interesting because we don't hand out money to the communities, but we also don't charge them. And so what that means is we've got to be persuasive, and our advice has to make sense to them rather than, oh, they're going to give us money, so we'll do it. And what that also means is they're building something that they want, and when we leave after the 10 years, they have it, they own it, it's what they made for themselves.
I'm Marcus Robinson from Social Innovation Group. I've been a guest of Wellville for 7 years. It's just a beautiful time to watch people come together and build relationships, which is the fundamental building block to neighborhoods, communities, cities, even our nation. You know, this whole business of wellness, social wellness, it really comes through because we get connected to each other. And the number one problem that we're facing in the world today is disconnection and aloneness.
I think we need at least an hour to really talk about our impact or the impact we've had with being involved in Wellville. But for us, when we think about our Wellville experience, it's really changed. It's been a unique experience, I'll say that, and it's changed the way we think as a community, and also changed how we operate and shaped our work in our community, not only together, but also in our separate organizations.
I think of myself as a community connector, so if I don't have the resource, I can connect our residents to someone who does have the resource, and Wellville has helped us in those connecting the dots with providing that information. And then also being able to share with the other communities. So good to learn what they're doing. It's something we can bring back to our community in Spartanburg, but to also share the impact that we're making in our community of Spartanburg. How can that be shared in with other communities?
We really did. The community learned how to think differently. We didn't chase the money. We learned how to identify the right things and then make a plan. We were told, Rick told me, there's no money for this. Wellville, there's no money. So we really had to think about, what would move the needle. And our city manager, who was at the table, said, wouldn't it be great if all our babies, 600 babies in the city, had access to all the resources they needed to be ready for kindergarten? And that was the birth of Hello Family. Hello Family took 6 years to get kicked off because of Pay for Success financing, getting the city and the hospital and the school districts to buy into this took a long time. And I don't take credit for that because that was Chris and Molly and some others, but it's a fabulous, fabulous program that allows home visitation for every new mom, etc. And I say all that to say that is something that drew attention nationally from other groups. We are receiving $100 million altogether, and part of that $100 million is going to take Hello Family from the city all the way out to the county, which is 300,000 people. So I don't know how many babies that is, but it's an expensive project, and some of these funds will go to that. So I say, that was one big piece of what we've gotten that started with Wellville.
We wanted to make life better for kids, and we, as I said, had passionate people around us. The behavioral health system jumped in. The social workers from the hospital jumped in. The educators jumped in.
Well, definitely CLAT's resilient. It came out of Wellville. And we have this group of people that are really working on having trauma-informed care and being resilient and working as a community and just going really investing in the community itself, being very self-aware of what we need to do. And I think, and North Coast Food Web, that has been also very successful. When we started 10 years ago, it was this small thing, and now it's such a big organization, still getting bigger, that I think that's one of the best success that we have.
One thing that I'm helping with is CHART, and that's the Community Health Resource and Advocacy Team. And that existed before Wellville, but they've gotten a lot of support from Wellville because it's a community group that really tries to advocate for and to create connections between different organizations in the community. And I think that there's more room for that to expand, and this has been inspiring and thinking about that in ways that we could expand, but that I don't have a lot of historical knowledge, but I hear that, and the little bit that I've worked with her, Maria, has been really, really instrumental in keeping that together and pushing it forward. And so I really appreciate that.
2 years ago, in 2022, we ended up doing a kind of round one of understanding how our place affects our Hispanic and Latino community and how it affects their health outcomes. It was really a good event, and so the next year we focused our Place Matters conference, which ended up being more of a workshop and turned into an assessment we got out of this workshop. We asked Jana Ludwig to facilitate this workshop. Maria Stark was able to support the work that we were doing, and she's supported our work in CHART for all the years she's been involved. So she helped organize this event, and we were able to have it fully translated in Spanish live. So we had folks speaking their native tongue at this workshop, and we learned a lot of different aspects of barriers in the food system in this region from doing that work. And so Jana Ludwig was able to take that back to the North Coast Food Web and use that to leverage their programming and focus more on Spanish-speaking resources for that community. And that organization focuses more, the North Coast Food Web focuses on access to food and support to farmers and producers. So it kind of just was a really good project that came out of the support of Wellville, amongst so many others, but that was, food is near and dear to my heart, so that really, it speaks to my heart, and it was really joyful to be a part of that, and it stemmed from our health coalition, so it's kind of like this bow that was tied Wellville and the coalition together, as well as all the organizations that contribute to the coalition and are part of it, including North Coast Food Web.
And I can't say enough about how life-changing it has been and empowering for me as an individual and as a representative of my community to find like-minded people from around the country that I could engage in peer learning with, and in ways where we're not competing, but we actually have each other's best interests.
Wellville came without a lot of requirements. It came with a vision that was broad and open, that was very clearly going to include community input by design, and it was 10 years, which is not that normal in our work or in my work as a public health person. So it was very, very different. And there was, instead of this, what you sometimes get in these initiatives is this idea that Robert Wood Johnson wants credit for what they do, or Trinity Health wants credit for what they do, or the Promise Zone wants credit for what they do. Wellville was just great, layer it on. Who else wants to come? Let's make this happen. And to the point where Roseville is practically an adopted community for Wellville, right? Because they were part of our Invest Health partnership. So that was very different. And I think Trinity has that same approach, but it's very unusual to have that kind of approach where the work isn't exclusive to the funder. And the funding model for Wellville is also very unusual. It's all technical assistance, and really this level of kind of social support and camaraderie that is just very, very different than anything else we've been involved in. Right?
Amen.
What does looking back to look forward mean to you? It is when you take the time to reflect all that you've been through. Apply it to the lessons learned to do and to be the voice of change for our community. In our session, everyone expressed how past transgressions won't hinder us from ensuring our youth progression to thrive. We are determined to change the narrative of just living to survive. We listen. We love, we grow, we learn, we lift. We build capacity, we seek capacity. We are who we are unapologetically, because it is our voices needed to be the catalyst to change what is systematically attacked, because moving forward, we're all determined to keep fighting back.
What I am most grateful for in this moment is seeing you all fully, seeing your beauty and your pain and your history and your hopes and your intelligence, your strength, your curiosity, your interdependence, your overflowing enoughness, and seeing your work. The work that Marcus described, and the work that you know, and the work that you do with all of your hearts and your hands and your heads, and the difference that you're making in this world in your own community. And I'm also grateful for us and who we are together. And I want us all to hold that and bring that back to all the places that we're going.
I'm seeing and watching your courage, all you've done, and all you're undertaking to do in the future. Your persistence.
Ideas flowed like a fast-moving stream, each adding to the current to create the Wellville gathering. We met by Zoom, across time zones and differences, each carrying gifts and talents, filling in the silences and gaps with the love of paint, murals, fabric, and the way words move. One by one they came from Clatsop County, Spartanburg, Muskegon, North Hartford, Roseville, and Wellville National to celebrate and to end well. To ask 3 questions: what will I carry forward? What world do I imagine in the next 10 years? And who will go with me? This gathering, 10 years in the making, communities committed to health and wellness and to each other. We begin with Sankofa, an Akan word meaning go back and get it, the image of a bird with its head turned backwards. Wellville started with Esther asking who, and then becoming the who she was asking for. She built a team of people, beginning with Rick, who care about the whole and focus on health and wellness of community in front of them. They develop a path, a strategy that evolved over time. And to this end, we gather. After 5 years, then 10 years, we came together and created a river, placed aliveness and representations of ourselves in it. From tractors, twine, skipping stones, and ducks, to unicorns and sirens and crops from HW Farms. Each item, metaphor, idea, concept, and emotion contributed to the heart and energy of Story River. From within partnerships and collaborations and coalitions, stories emerged of community care, risk-taking, and mutual aid. So take me to your river, I want to go. Forward in the next 10 years, beginning with the end in mind, we'd like to see people have what they need to survive and thrive and not live in fear. Have sustainable, reliable transportation, meaningful employment that provides a living wage, along with delicious, nutritious food. affordable, desirable homes to rent and to own. Education that is bountiful, accessible, and inclusive of diverse methodologies for all. Arts and entertainment that is cultural, accessible, and kind to our families, and creates platforms for a variety of artists and cultural workers, because art is necessary. Healthcare focuses on prevention, and when sickness impacts us, we want to be treated with dignity, our whole person cared for. Doulas for everyone with a womb, saving lives and advocating, eradicating all the inequities, so Black women and people with wombs survive alongside their babies. We experience loss through misunderstanding, unmet expectations, and a lack of capacity. Some lost trust and relationships were fractured, and yet many continue to hold a place in their hearts for reconciliation and understanding. In the meantime, we grieve and offer mutual aid in the time of need. We dreamed and imagined that no one is forgotten. Everyone deserves to be seen, valued, and celebrated for the gifts they bring and who they be. Folks toured Muskegon to hear, taste, and see what's good in the Heights, what's working at Goodwill, how are the children faring at the Boys and Girls Club. We read living books, listened to stories of humans living, breathing, and surviving in Muskegon. The stories helped walk us home to ourselves and to our shared humanity. We shared meals, cultures, laughter, and tears around tables and in circles. As we return to our cities, we have these river stones to remind us of promises we made to ourselves and to each other, hoping for love, health, legacy, and sustainability to guide us. In the end, we remember that there exists a deeper love still, and it flows like a river through us and in us all. So take me to your river, 'cause I wanna go. Take me to your river, 'cause I wanna go.